were all it took to change the fate of humanity forever. Because the instant a small glass bulb glowed steadily in the darkness, night lost its ancient power and humans gained control over time itself. And long before cities shimmered with artificial light, before streets felt safe after sunset, before homes glowed warmly through the night, darkness ruled human existence with absolute authority, deciding when people could work, travel, gather, learn, or rest. Because for most of human history, the sun was the only reliable clock, and night was not peaceful or romantic but dangerous, cold, and filled with uncertainty. And this story does not begin with electricity or laboratories, but with fear, survival, and humanity's earliest struggle against darkness. Because when early humans first learned to control fire, light became more than warmth. It became protection, power, and hope, a way to push back predators, extend the day, and gather together. And for thousands of years, fire remained humanity's only defense against the night, carried in the fragile forms of torches, candles, and oil lamps that flickered weakly, burned unevenly, filled homes with smoke and soot, and constantly threatened devastating fires. And while these early sources of light slightly extended human activity beyond sunset, they never truly defeated darkness, because they were unreliable, expensive, and dangerous. And entire civilizations lived in rhythm with daylight, rising and sleeping according to the sun, until population growth, urbanization, and the industrial age pushed humanity to its limits. Because as cities grew larger and denser, darkness became more than an inconvenience. It became a deadly risk, fueling crime, accidents, and fires that could destroy entire neighborhoods overnight. And this growing danger transformed the search for safer and stronger light into a necessity rather than a luxury. And it was during this period of transformation that scientists began exploring a mysterious force that promised light without flame, electricity, a power that could produce illumination without smoke, heat, or burning fuel. An early experiment showed that when electric current passed through certain materials, they could glow. But these early electric lights were unstable, short-lived, and impractical, often burning out quickly or requiring enormous amounts of power. Yet they hinted at a future where darkness could finally be conquered permanently. And in the 19th century, inventors across Europe and America raced to turn this fragile idea into reality, experimenting endlessly with filaments, glass enclosures, vacuums, and power sources, often failing hundreds or even thousands of times. Because the challenge was not simply to create light, but to create light that was safe, affordable, long-lasting, and practical for everyday use. And among these determined inventors was Joseph Swan, who developed early incandescent lamps using carbonized paper filaments, and demonstrated that electric light could successfully illuminate homes and public spaces, proving to the world that artificial electric light was not a fantasy, but a workable solution. And Swan's achievements inspired others to continue refining the technology, and across the Atlantic, another inventor pursued the same dream with relentless obsession: Thomas Edison, a man often mistakenly credited as the sole inventor of the light bulb, when in reality, his greatest contribution was not invention alone, but perseverance, engineering, and vision. Because Edison understood that a light bulb by itself was meaningless without an entire system to support it, including generators, wiring, switches, and reliable power distribution. And after testing thousands of different filament materials, Edison succeeded in creating a bulb that burned longer and more reliably than previous designs. And more importantly, he built a complete electrical lighting system that could power entire streets and neighborhoods. And when electric lights first illuminated cities, factories, and homes, the impact was immediate and profound. Because darkness no longer dictated the rhythm of human life, and suddenly work could continue after sunset. Hospitals became safer, education expanded into the evening hours, and streets once feared at night became active and alive. And the light bulb quietly reshaped human behavior in ways no one could have predicted, altering sleep patterns, productivity, social life, and even how societies measured time. Because night was no longer a stopping point, but simply another part of the day. And as electric lighting spread across the world, it became a powerful symbol of progress, modernity, and hope, transforming skylines, enabling nightlife, and changing how humans experience cities. And yet the story of the bulb did not end with incandescent light, because technology continued evolving as engineers sought greater efficiency, durability, and safety. Moving from carbon filaments to tungsten, from glowing wires to fluorescent tubes that use gas and phosphorus to produce light with far less energy, and later to light-emitting diodes, or LEDs, which revolutionized lighting once again by producing brighter light using a fraction of the power while lasting exponentially longer, reducing cost, waste, and environmental impact. And with each technological leap, the bulb became more than a tool. It became infrastructure, shaping architecture, transportation, systems, entertainment, and global culture itself, allowing cities to glow like constellations visible from space and enabling human activity to continue around the clock. And yet, for all its technical complexity, the true power of the light bulb lies not in glass, metal, or circuitry, but in what it represents, because it symbolizes humanity's refusal to accept natural limits. The belief that darkness is not destiny, and the courage to experiment, fail, and persist until the impossible becomes ordinary. And when we ask who invented the light bulb, the most honest answer is not a single name or moment, but a long chain of human effort stretching across generations. From ancient firemakers to early scientists studying electricity, from inventors like Joseph Swan and Thomas Edison refining practical solutions, to countless engineers improving and adapting lighting technology over time. And today, in a world filled with glowing screens, illuminated cities, and artificial daylight available at every hour, it is easy to forget how recently humans lived at the mercy of darkness, how frightening nights once were, and how revolutionary it felt to turn night into day. And as we flip a switch without a second thought, light responds instantly, a silent servant born from centuries of curiosity, danger, failure, and imagination, reminding us that some of the most transformative inventions are not loud or dramatic, but steady, reliable, and constant, quietly shaping how we live, work, and dream. And as humanity moves toward a future of smart lighting, renewable energy, and sustainable cities, the bulb remains a powerful symbol of our journey from fear to control, from shadows to clarity, and from darkness to light. Because long after the inventors are forgotten and technologies evolve, the simple act of illumination will continue to define civilization itself, glowing softly in every corner of the world as proof that even the smallest light can change everything.